It's still pretty big, so I need to find something a little bit smaller than this. I'm going to go look for a coffee can. Okay, we're back. I tried using a small coffee can to form the flesh hoop, and the curvature was too large, so I found this is 2 pound 7 ounce coffee can. I bent it and bent the flesh hoop, and then adjusted it a little bit by hand to get close to the curvature of the pot. If you look at that, that's actually fairly irregular. That's not a very symmetrical bend. That's not a problem, and I'll talk to a little bit about dealing with that. Since I started working quite a bit with tone rings and flesh hoops, I bought myself a bending machine. I bought it from Grizzly in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and it does an absolutely spectacular job of making a perfectly symmetrical ring out of round brass stock for flesh hoops. I use 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch bar for making tension hoops, nice heavy tension hoops. And I also use a couple different kinds of brass stock for making tone rings. You really don't need to have a bender. I've had some emails with questions about using flesh hoops, and I wanted to go through this way of doing it by hand, just to help out the folks who don't have a good source for flesh hoops. It's a piece of cake to make it yourself. So what is important, considering that I've got some of those irregularities in the curvature, I'm going to fit it by hand so it's just as close and snug a fit as I can possibly get it holding it by hand. So I can see there's some open spaces and gaps, and I'm going to need a pen for this operation. It looks like we're getting close. Still got some excess over here, so I'm going to eyeball where I need to cut this. Having those irregularities in the curvature of the flesh hoop is absolutely not a problem, because when you put on the head, the head and the skin and the tension hoop are going to compress the flesh hoop, so it'll wind up being just exactly right. Plus the flesh hoop is buried beneath the head once it's installed, so having a perfect curvature is absolutely not important. What is important is to make sure that the flesh hoop fits very closely. The ends come together close to the circumference of the pot. So I'm also not going to try to use the very ends of the brass rod, because I want to use a piece that has curvature. I don't want to have a straight piece of brass at the end of the flesh hoop that I'm going to try to fit to seat the skin. So I'm choosing in 3 or 4 inches where I've got some curvature, and on the other end of the flesh hoop I've also got a nice curvature, so it should come off and be a pretty good fit. So that would be a tight fit, or that would be a fit the way it is right now. I'm going to make it with the amount of deformation I have in there, I'm going to make it a 1/4 inch less in length than. So here's my one mark, here's my other mark. So that should pretty much accommodate the variation in the circumference or the shape of the flesh hoop. Now I'm just going to use my little Dremel saw to buzz through at these 2 marks.